Hey guys, today I want to talk about a health issue that a lot of expats don't take into consideration when they move to the Philippines. A lot of guys, as soon as they get over here, they head south to the other islands, the more remote islands. And the further you get away from Manila, the worse the healthcare gets. There's only a few cities down there like Cebu, Davao, and maybe a couple others that have really, really decent hospitals down there. And there's 7,000 something islands in the Philippines. You may want to consider staying around the Manila area and using that as a place to stay, to have as a base, because anywhere within like 40 miles, I would say, of Manila, you're going to be okay. At least then, if you got something going on, you can get taken down to Manila in an ambulance or a car or what have you, and you might be okay. Or if you're the closer you are to Manila, the better off you are. I tell people, after living here for 7 years, I would never really consider living south full time. Like, I want to go to Sikihor. I want to build a place down there. And if I build a place down there, it'd be a place where I would visit and go down there once in a while and then come back here the majority of the time. Now, why wouldn't I want to live down there? Healthcare. The closest place for healthcare down there is Dumaguete. Dumaguete doesn't actually have any really beautiful hospitals around Dumaguete that you can go to. You probably have to go to Cebu or something like that for really good healthcare. At least up here in my area, I got De La Salle University Hospital. It's about 20, 30 minutes away, depending on the time of the day and the traffic and everything. So you want to be careful and really think about your healthcare. And here's the reason why. A friend of mine, when I first come over here, he was in his 70s. He was 72 years old. He had a pacemaker. And the pacemaker battery died on it. And they could keep him hooked up in the hospital to keep the pacemaker going while he was at the hospital. But he was waiting for a battery. And he was getting kind of antsy in there because the battery was taking so long to get there, I guess, from what I understood. And he decided to go out and get something to eat. And they warned him. They says, look, if you leave the hospital, there's a good chance that you might need some care. And you're not going to have the pacemaker hooked up because the battery's dead and something could happen to you. And this guy, being himself, because he was kind of a feisty fella, he decides that he's going to go get something to eat and then he's going to come back. Well, lo and behold, he gets over to the mall and he drops dead of a heart attack. And that could have been resolved if he was up north in a Manila hospital, probably, because they probably would have had what he needed, a battery, but it was taking a long time for them to get a battery down here. And he kept asking, why is it taking so long? They says, well, they have them in Manila or whatever. And when you think about stuff like that, that could happen to you. The further you are away from a really, really good hospital, the more likely it is that you're going to die. If you have a heart attack or a stroke or something like that, you better be ready. And I tell people, if you're prone to stuff like that, I wouldn't even leave this area. I would stay around here, maybe travel, do day trips or something like that, and try to keep safe, stay healthy. But if you have like really, really serious issues, really bad diabetes, really bad heart issues, really bad issues with whatever, you may want to think about not going south, because any issue you have is going to be exacerbated by the fact that you don't have a good hospital there. And that being said, you could die, depending on what you have going on. A heart attack, stroke, out on an island where you have to take a ferry to go somewhere to a hospital or whatever, you're going to die like that. You're not going to live. You're not going to make it. You're not safe. The other thing is insurance over here. You better have some insurance. You better at least have the minimum of insurance, which is like 2 million pesos. I think for Pacific Cross has something for 2 million pesos. They have other plans here, but they're really crappy. They're not really good plans. A lot of the Filipinos will try to sell you into some garbage plans. They have like these, I call them scammer insurances out there, and you get a card. Some of them are halfway decent to get you covered at a local doctor here, but it's not for really your hospital or anything like that. They have these plans where they cover like outpatient, It costs about $200 a year or something like that, I think, for some of those plans. And they're not that bad. I know a couple people that have them. They love them. You can get that for your outpatient insurance. But for inpatient insurance, I would surely get something like Pacific Cross or something like that. Pacific Cross, we have a Michael Onstad. He's one of our group members in our expat group. Michael sells insurance. He takes care of our people really, really well. So make sure we talk about him a lot, because a lot of guys, they send me all kinds of emails. Hey Steve, where can I get some health insurance over there? Well, he sells all insurances, okay? Everything you can think of. So you just call up Michael Onstad on Messenger. You can talk to him on Messenger. Michael's, he's probably one of the best expat insurance reps over here. You've probably seen him on other vlogs. He's really, really good at what he does. He comes to our expat dinners, and you can talk to him if you go to one of our expat dinners. He's really, really good at what he does. I highly recommend you talk to him. The problem with insurance is anywhere in the world, I want you to take this into consideration, is pre-existing conditions is what's going to boot you up. Some people can live with those pre-existing conditions. If you take them off the table and say, well, I don't want those covered because the VA covers them or something like that. If you're service connected and you can get things covered up here in Manila, don't put that in there. Say, I'm going to take that off. You can have it written out of the policy or whatever. Like, let's say you have diabetes. Your diabetes would be treated by the VA. Let's say you have sciatica or you have arthritis. You don't want to get covered for that because you don't need it covered. Otherwise, they may charge you 20% more or 30% more or something like that. You could take it off the table and your policy will still be reasonable. A lot of people don't know that with insurance policies. It's actually what I did to my insurance policy with my pre-existing conditions. I had it lowered that way. Some of them I still left on the table because I'm not covered, or it just doesn't matter. I can take care of it myself. I can go to the doctor here and get it taken care of. So I didn't want to put it on there. Most of the things were things that you wouldn't be inpatient in a hospital for anyway. It was all outpatient stuff, like arthritis. Arthritis is not something that usually needs to be operated on in most cases. Most people just have, low or mid-level pain from arthritis, and you can get that taken care of with a regular doctor in most cases. So when you're thinking of insurance, be careful, guys. But also when you're thinking about living places, be very careful. That's why I tell people, live near a good hospital where you can go there and you can get anything taken care of there that you need to. You can get your 5-year colonoscopies taken care of there, and then go on trips. Go on trips down to Siquijor or Dumaguete or wherever you want to go. Because that way there, most of the time when you're living at your regular home, if it's around Manila, at least you're safe. Especially guys that are in there, that are really getting up there. You're not in the best of health or whatever. You don't want to be traveling around, going to these outer islands and stuff like that. You just don't. It's too risky. If you, God forbid, you have a heart attack or something like that. The other thing is here, and I really want to push this on a lot of people, is either have an emergency fund around for, God forbid, if something happens to you, so that at least they can cremate you and get you buried somewhere. At least think about that. A lot of guys don't like buying, insurance. Not health insurance. I'm talking about like regular insurance, life insurance. Everybody says it's a ripoff. At least have some sort of policy or have some sort of money in the cash. One or the other. I know a lot of people out there say, Steve, life insurance is a giant ripoff. I agree. It's kind of expensive. But usually the guys that say that, or the guys that come over here, don't have any money in the bank to get buried or something when something happens to them, and everybody has to chip in to bury the guy. All the expats have to chip in for that guy to bury that guy. I've seen it happen here before. It's kind of sad that it is that way, but it kind of is that way in the expat community. It's usually the people that don't want to have stuff like that, don't care. Or they figure, well, I'll save it up later. I'll save up the money for my life insurance later. That I'll put 5,000 in my safe for my girlfriend, or in a bank account with her name on it, or what have you, or my wife. Plan this stuff out, guys. Don't be that guy who leaves the girlfriend behind to bury, or she has to call home and tell his kids. The kids all have to chip in a few bucks to get them, cremated or whatever, because they can't afford to bury them. Don't be that guy. A lot of guys say, well, I don't really care. I don't care. They can throw me in the trash or whatever. It might end up happening that way, because some of the guys over here don't even leave contacts lists or anything with anybody here, or don't even have them in the wallet. Have a contact list in your wallet to call. Maybe put in there, in case of death, contact this person. Maybe it's your son or daughter or something like that, and give them 5,000 or 10,000 in cash, so that when that person calls, they can at least get you buried, or maybe they can come to the Philippines and get you buried, or what have you. Think about this stuff and have enough cash ready to do that. And make sure you guys have a will. You need a will here. If you guys are living with a girl, or you're married or whatever here, have a will. Have it set up so that your wife or your girlfriend or whatever can, at least get the property that you leave behind, or you can say, hey, I want this to go to my son back home, mail it back to him, or whatever. Whatever it is you want, put it in your will. You want to make sure that you have all these safety nets there. And most guys in the Philippines don't consider that. I've seen so many people pass away here without leaving any will, anything. They just don't care. So what happens is, when they die, the families that usually own the building or whatever go in there and take all the stuff. And sometimes before the embassy official gets down there to take care of the body or whatever, because usually the embassy gets called up to retrieve the body and tell the family back home or whatever. And usually what happens is everybody goes into the apartment and just grabs everything. They steal everything. Everything will be gone out of the apartment. It happens all the time. I've talked to the embassy officials here, and they've told me the same. You got to be careful, guys. You got to be smarter. A lot of people here don't think of that stuff. They're just thinking about their day-to-day concerns. That's all they care about. Don't be that guy. Be a planner. Plan your life here. Be smart. Live smart. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to throw that out there today. I thought it'd be a great vlog to put out there. This is something that weighs heavy on me, because I've seen so many people, expats, come over here, die, and everything is messed up. All their stuff gets stolen. They're or they don't have a will, or they don't have money to get buried, or they don't even have money if they get sick. They go into the hospital and they have no money. They're trapped in the hospital. They can't get out of the hospital because they don't have the money. Happens daily over here. That's why I say you need health insurance, life insurance, or like 5,000 in your safe or in somebody's hands. You want to make sure you plan well. Anyway, guys, God bless. Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's show.